to our second topic. Primal Target
Hot
Awards.
topic.
Hot topic, no. Dead.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. Don't care to have it. So here we are with the PT Awards. This is the award ceremony that we started a couple years ago now, and it started off with just like 2 awards, Game of the Year and the PT Hall of Fame, and now has gone into. We have a couple awards that we hand out, and Tyler, you'll be joining us on this as well in a couple of these categories here. So just to kick things off and to get it out of the way, the Primal Target Plays Award, which is the PT Plays Award, our Let's Play series. What video did the best out of all of the other videos this year, even though we didn't really put out a lot on YouTube, so sorry about that. But it was old school versus now Halo CE. Ashton, you want to kind of explain the video?
Yeah. So me and Ryan, we we hopped on Master Chief Collection and started playing Halo CE. Just run through the campaign. We did it on Legendary. It was just a video where we just collected a bunch of funny moments, and there were some funny moments. It did, obviously, because it did pretty well. It was just a lot of fun. It was it's a fun video to make and also to watch. Check it out.
PT Video of the Year. A video out of everything from podcasts to Let's Plays to anything we put out last year in 2020. What video did the best? Ashton, I'm sure you remember what video did the best.
So it was actually one of our podcasts. It was a PT 3600 podcast where we had Ren Fox and Pluviio here as guests. And it was the Dirty episode where we talked about porn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty great. We actually, not just like porn stars that we like or anything like that, but, fun porn facts as well. So if you're in for a fun listen with the family on Christmas, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, that one is fun family. Goddamn. Yeah, that was definitely one that I don't know how I feel about that one being the one that it's gonna be archived forever. But hey, it's got me in hot water in some situations. But hey, here we are. it's all about the content, and it was funny. So
I don't know. I felt like the water was just fine.
It felt a little gooey to me. Anyway, we're moving on to.
It actually tries to separate, not like be like oil on water.
Okay.
Curdled water.
Moving on to the next award, the Happy Accident Award. Tyler, let's kick it off with you. You chose Bless Unleashed.
Yeah.
Why'd you choose to give that the Happy Accident Award, the award that's given to a game that you didn't think was gonna be, or it just kind of surprised you, and you're like, you know what, this was a good game.
I don't play a whole lot of MMOs. I've tried. For example, I've tried Terra. Couldn't stick with that at all. But Bless was, I don't know. Like that was the only one I could definitely play by myself. There's some MMOs I can only play with like people. Like if I don't have people around, I'm not gonna play it. But Blessed, like back on Mixer, like I had like a whole fucking 6-hour stream of me just playing that game, and there was nobody around. I was like, this is lit. I'm enjoying this.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because I was like some fucking Lion-O looking dude who could dunk on people with a battle axe. That's exactly what I was doing the entire time. That was great. But yeah, that one took me by surprise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ashton, you actually chose the same game. Why is that?
I did. I didn't think it was going to be that good, especially since they were paying small-time streamers.
Yeah, I guess we should state that. It was a sponsored thing, but we're not sponsored by them anymore. I just want to clarify.
And we actually didn't even get our payout, so we got kind of robbed.
Well, there you go.
Fuck them. But
well, okay.
The game was actually good. I didn't expect it to be good at all. I was like, fuck it, I'll try it out, and it's actually pretty good. Like, I'm not much of an MMO guy myself, but I mean, it's pretty fun. I enjoyed playing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the game I chose was Warzone. If Twitch subcategorizes it now as a game, I'm damn well gonna select it. And since it's now crossing into 2 games now, so there you go. But yeah, like I never thought I would enjoy a battle royale quite like Warzone, or anything really. I tried PUBG in the past, not really feeling it. Kind of feels clunky. Fortnite has the building thing. I'm not really into that. And there's been a couple others kind of scattered throughout of me just testing out and whatnot. But Call of Duty Warzone, to me, it's just fun. Like even though I can get like 3 or 4 kills in a game, and it doesn't really matter. Like even when I die, or like there's that rush of like, it's so weird. It's the only game that makes me do this, of where like you get to the final like 5 or whatever, and if you win or lose or whatever, as soon as that match is over, I get these like Warzone shakes where like my hand starts to shiver because I was so fucking stressed out. But it's like the only game that it like thrills me. It's like a thrill ride of like, damn, only place like, sometimes you'll get like fucking copped out in like top 70, and you're like, all right, well, whatever. Then you'll go like top 50, and then you'll go top 25, and you're like, oh, okay, we're doing it. And then maybe top 10, and maybe final 2, but it's like you never know. And there's 150 other people that are trying to do the same thing as you, so, or 149 other people that are trying to do the same thing as you. So I don't know. I was very shocked and very happily surprised at how much I really like that game, and I'm gonna keep playing it until I eventually, hopefully, become good at it. But I think it's also helped me in my Call of Duty gameplays as well. Of just like, even though I get more angry in multiplayer, because it's like you could get spawn killed and whatnot. But that's in all multiplayer games. But but yeah, I think that one's just where that anger thrives in. But I think it's helped me out going like, I used to be dog shit at Call of Duty, where I'd be like 0.4 KD and like just nothing, not very good. But now I'm like at least 1. Sometimes I'll go 3, and things like that. But yeah, I think I'm getting better at Call of Duty because of Warzone. So I'd say Warzone is my happy accident award.
Nice.
Brown Star Award. Let's start with Ashton.
This one was tough.
Ashton, explain what the Brown Star Award is.
The Brown Star Award is the Shitty Game Award. Usually, so with the Brown Star Award, it's not going to be opinion based. It's going to be based off of the industry, how the state of the game is, or was at launch. So it's the one that we do every year. So I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's just like a shitty game launch. It can be ruined by bugs. I'm sure a lot of you know where this is going. For me, I actually had to give it to Cyberpunk, which leaves me with a dirty taste in my mouth because I actually played on Xbox Series X and don't have any issues.
Yeah.
But everybody on like other consoles do. So like Xbox One and PlayStation 4, they have a lot.
Especially the older model ones of those too.
Yeah. So like the day one consoles, it just doesn't work. The only perfect way to play it right now is basically PC. So I mean, there's some bugginess on Series X, but nothing game breaking or anything that would make you not want to play it. Right? Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Some negligible stuff. Like it's not even a big deal. So I love Cyberpunk 2077. Fantastic game. It is getting, unfortunately, the company's kind of on fire. They shouldn't be. I mean, they're doing everything that they can to make everything right, which is, you can't say that for really any other studio, period. Like no other studio has been this good about like damage control and making things right. So, but the game did release and it's unplayable to the point to where it's not on the PlayStation Store anymore until they fix it. So, I mean, that's pretty indicative of like a Brown Star Award. Like your game was literally removed from a platform because it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is kind of the bummer thing about it. And I do agree with you of like the game is there's good in it. And I think I was listening to IGN's Game Scoop. I can't remember who said it, but someone said it's like a 3/4 of a amazing game but
Yeah.
there's just 1/4 that just
It just
sticks
needed to
out
cut a
so
little
hard.
longer.
Yeah, yeah, and I think they just had to come out with the game is what I think they felt like doing, and then and yeah, I think it just kind of went to this really, you know, bad timing of like they really tried, but they just couldn't do it.
They needed another quarter.
Yeah, and you know what? There is an update that did come out. That's supposed to come out on the 24th, I believe, of December. And then who knows if there's one that's coming in January by the time this
There
releases.
is. So they actually have a roadmap out. There will be another big update in January and another big update in February, and then it should work.
Okay. Yeah, I heard the 24th update is supposed to be a huge like fixer, and who knows what the other ones would probably be that. But yeah, I mean, you know, as this is kind of a bummer situation of like, damn, you know, I understand why Ashton that you chose to give Cyberpunk what it is, and it is, you know, unfortunately rightfully delivered. But yeah, I think going into the Brown Star word for me is Marvel Avengers. I did not play this game because I avoided it. So I know it's kind of like, oh, well, how can you give the award? I don't want to spend money on a game that is gonna, you know, try and have me pay to play. And if I wanted to do that, I'd go to an arcade, and I'm not spending $60 on a goddamn game to do that. It's I also think that it was weird how like cosmetically like you don't change based on like weapons you unlock. So I'm like, well then what's the point? Like the unlocking a weapon or a attachment or things like that if it's not going to change what I look like. Like I understand that you want to do skins and things like that, but like let me decide as the player. It's my choice to play the video game, and I'd like to select it. If you're gonna give me the options, like let me be like Destiny, where like if I select a helmet for Iron Man and it's a weird combination, let me look like I'm ugly. If I want to combine things together, let me decide that. But yeah, it was like high hopes and literally swept under the radar, swept under the rug. I think Square Enix is trying to fix it, or you know, was it Crystal Dynamics was the ones that were making that, which was
It's Square,
what was that?
it's Square Enix.
It's Square Enix, but like who's the one that made that? Is that Crystal Dynamics?
Could be.
Because I'm thinking it was the people that made Tomb Raider and then were pulled off of Tomb Raider to go make that game. And I don't know
Crystal
really what was that?
It's Crystal down there.
It is Crystal? Okay. And that's why the other team that makes Tomb Raider, I can't remember off the top of my head, they had to take charge of Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Which is just weird because it's like Square is so inconsistent on how good games are. Like you'll get like Shadow of the Tomb Raider makes 3 games, solid games, and then you get one of the biggest properties coming off of one of the biggest movies that was released last year, and all of a sudden it's just what the fuck is this? And then you put people in the game that like no one really cares about, and like it just like, and then they updated it with Hawkeye's daughter. And I'm like, oh, that's
Nah, I heard that chick's not his daughter.
it's
Chick's
not
not.
it's
She's in no relation to Hawkeye. She's just some chick who supposedly gets like trained by Hawkeye.
okay. Well,
But
see,
they
there
have.
you go. It's like that's just even. It's more of the case of like.
She's in the comics.
Yeah,
though,
yeah,
but
I know. And then what like Ms. Marvel was also selected to be like the poster child of that game, and I'm like, look, as much as I appreciate you trying to put forward a character that doesn't really get much of a push, like, because that's the idea of Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy were a bunch of nobodies that no one read the comics of, unless you were like a diehard fan. And then all of a sudden they make the movies and they've become like such cultural icons because they knew who to be in those movies. This is like, you had an all-star cast to play all of these top-tier Marvel characters, but we've seen them. And so we've already associated that Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, but he's not in this game, so they made him look different. So there's kind of like the visuals is kind of messing up. I don't know. I think there was just it just had a dirty taste in a lot of people's mouths, even though the game I guess theoretically worked more than Cyberpunk did. It to me it just seemed like a company that was, I think there was a game there originally, and then the publisher decided to step in and go, yeah, but what if we did microtransactions? Like, and so, and you know, obviously, if you want to take the EA route, I don't know what game you're looking at that's pulling in good numbers, but it definitely doesn't. It's not things that people like. So anyway, I gave Marvel's Avengers the Brown Star Award this year. Tyler, you also gave the Brown Star Award to Marvel's Avengers. What's going on?
I just felt like for what it could have been, using these properties that we use, like the Avengers. I'm not really so bothered on the look, because like you probably ain't got that much money, especially not like now, So it's gonna be a lot of money to try to get these actors in there to use their likeness, because probably like mocap involved. We're in different times at the moment, so it just didn't deliver. It wasn't there. You had all this behind you. You like Avengers. It's not just like the characters we see in the movies that are part of Avengers. It gets so much deeper than that. There's so much people you can add to make it an enjoyable experience. And to kind of combat like what Ashley was saying about like Cyberpunk is just about like the added feature of not added feature, but the added like aspect of like them removing it off the PlayStation Store. I don't consider that to be like a product of like developer choice, a product of like it was forced upon them by consumers. So imagine if no one ever said anything about all the bugs in Cyberpunk. That game would still be where it is today. So I feel like that game is not really bad. It's just consumers that are whining that they didn't really get what they thought they were gonna get.
You're saying, just to kind of clarify, you're saying that CD Projekt Red would have fixed the game even without people complaining about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
if people would never complain to like this degree, like of course they have to play it, right? Of course they're gonna see it and things are gonna make it like to their view, because Twitter is everywhere. Everyone's on Twitter nowadays. It's gonna get out there. But the wanting for this game has been like the biggest outcry, and I feel like it's because people thought they were gonna get more, and they didn't get more, so they whined about it. But from what I'm hearing, people who've played the game, you've played it, Ashley has played it. You guys say it's really good. So why are we letting game bugs riddle your experience?
Well,
if you can sit here and tell me game bugs don't riddle your experience, then what's the problem?
right. For next gen users though, most people aren't on next gen yet.
Yeah. I think that's where a lot of the fallout of it is, because yeah, the game that we got because obviously the game was advertised as an Xbox One and a PS4 game, and it still is. It's still specifically for those consoles. And so people going into it, and obviously both consoles being super difficult to get as of current of December 23rd. That's all they have, and so I think that why people keep talking about it and is that topic of I'm stuck with this. So if this is what you told me to play it on, why is it play like this? And I agree with Ashton, and I also agree with you, Tyler. It's just definitely that, and I think that's the reason why we keep talking about it is because it's a good game. And we just can't let it die, because I think the game is a solid game, but it's just not there all the way, and that's really the issue.
Well, it's also because like they're gonna take 3 months after release to make a minimum viable product on all platforms.
I think that was the problem. It was trying to get it on all platforms. That was to me the problem, because I mean obviously they're a PC company. They're really good at making. They started on PC with The Witcher, and they've continued to make the games on PC super good. Then they started with putting the stuff over on Xbox 360, and then those ports were really good. And I think it's that hype. The hype is super difficult to try and keep up, especially when we learned about this game back in like 2012. So like we've been literally when we were playing Diablo 3. We were just learning about Cyberpunk.
We were still in high school.
Yeah, exactly. We were still in high school, and so it's like and people that weren't 18 to play that game, they waited. Now those people are 18. That's so long ago, and like it's almost a decade to play this game. And I think that CD Projekt Red had to make that decision to put that game out. Was it the good decision? Was it the right call? Some people say yes, some people say no. So, But yeah,
Well, if you
yeah, go ahead.
no, it's just the way you look at it. Like people say yes, people say no. There's no winning.
Yeah.
Like no answer is right
Yes.
because no matter what they chose to do, there were going to be complaints. You
Yes.
delay it again, complaints. You put
Oh,
it out,
100%.
Yes.
and you get what you
Totally
get right
agree.
now. It's going to be complaints. There was no pleasing anybody. People just have to realize that this is kind of what you wanted. It was delayed for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I can only like say so much like with my foot like just in the door of like game design, but I'm like my teacher has run us through drills about like how this shit goes, and it's not fun for anybody. Crunch is a bitch. We learned that too. Like some people don't even really get paid for crunching,
Mm-hmm.
and being like you're like developer and publisher, you don't have no big company backing you. It's just all you. So like the weight is on their shoulders, meaning like they know what they did. And I feel like people have to learn to be patient, like like Ashton said, they're like one of the companies out here who is actually trying to fix something.
Mm-hmm.
And why I give it to Avengers, because like, did Avengers try to fix anything? No, they just released a DLC.
Yeah,
Your
they just
game's
keep
still
doing it. They're still doing it. Yeah.
You're not trying to change anything to make it more enjoyable. Content is not going to make your game. In certain situations, yes, more content does make your game enjoyable, but it's not because once people play through that in a week, what does it go through?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, that game does work though.
Yeah, I can give you that, but there's no fun game there. And honestly, of what I've seen, like it doesn't
There's
seem.
a fun game in Cyberpunk. Bugs aside, that's the point I'm trying to bring out. You separate that from the actual experience and think of the times that the game bugged out on you way more on you than the time that the game worked and you actually enjoyed the story. And I guarantee you, everybody's answer is definitely no.
Yeah, for me personally, I would have to say, yeah, the bugs are. I would say the fun times outweigh the bugs for me personally on Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It could be on last gen consoles too. People just don't know how to stop whining.
Mm-hmm.
I can get that game right now, have it should be buggy as hell with my Xbox. I don't even want to play half the games I have on it, and still have a great time. Bugs aside, it's not really the hardware you're on. The type of person you want to be, and do you want to sit here and whine all day?
Yeah. Yeah, and
you
then
got
into
into.
I mean, it is an unacceptable state, though.
It is sure.
There,
I mean, and to wrap things up here, it kind of does go with the whole fact that it is a, like I was saying earlier, it is advertised as to being on those consoles, and so like the fact that, but I think CD Projekt Red being so adventurous into making things extremely good looking and the gameplay and like building worlds and things like that, it's so big of a game. That like I've been in Night City the whole game for 8 hours. I have not even made it to the wildlands or whatever the hell they call that thing, like the desert. I've not been out there yet. That's a whole section of the game I've not been out to. There's missions upon submissions upon meeting people, romance options, things like that. It's so fucking ambitious of a game that it just, to me honestly, they should have just said, fuck it, we're not coming out on the past gen console, even though we said we were going to come out on past gen. We just got to make it for the next gen. Even and I think it sucks, and that was that. And I know that they want to appease to everybody because CD Projekt Red is CD Projekt Red. They love appeasing, like giving back to the community and the fans that they do have, especially when you see like The Witcher and all of the free content that they gave to that game. The little love note that they sent in every single packaging of The Witcher Complete Edition saying that we appreciate you, we do all this stuff. It's literally a note. It's literally a note that they typed up and signed CD Projekt Red. And you open it up, all it is just a little note that says, "Thank you for buying our game. We hope you enjoy it." And it's like, there's no company that does that as much as like this company in Poland, CD Projekt Red. And I can't wait to see what the game looks like after it's done. But yeah, unfortunately, it's not where it's at. But I still give it to Marvel's Avengers just because Square, it doesn't seem like they want to change. And I think that's where it's like, it comes down to that company of why they didn't want to do that. I don't know. And you have a big property. You have Disney riding on this. And as far as I'm aware, and seeing, when I see games from Insomniac making Spiderman and Miles Morales, like, why the hell did we get this game and not those games? Those games have one main character. Well, I guess, okay, give or take, but you have a Spider-Man like to worry, to play as in there.
Yeah.
Over here, you have supposedly a very eclectic crew of Avengers, and it's not fun. So it's like I don't know how that team was able to make a better game than you guys are, and they're an open world sandboxy type of game. So it's like I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, there's the Brown Star Award. Any final things about that before we move on? I just want to.
Nope.
Okay. Hall of Fame Award. This is the game that will be forever immortalized into our website over in the PT Hall of Fame. Last year, I inducted Pokemon Yellow version, and Ashton, you inducted
Super Mario Galaxy?
Yes, yes, he did. And so this year we have 3 inductees because our good old pal Tyler is here. So let's get on. Ashton, what game are you inducting into the Hall of Fame? The class of 2020.
Halo 3, dude.
And why is that?
Because it kind of like set the precedent for all the future Halo games in the franchise, and it actually was doing something that other games did not. It had a pretty good story, not quite as good as Halo 2's story, but it had the best multiplayer in its time, arguably, and it also had that Forge mode that no other game had.
Mm-hmm.
It made custom games a mainline thing in future games on other franchises. It was a trendsetter, trailblazer, if you will. That game had so much to it, especially for its time. It was just top tier game. And people still go back and play it regularly on Master Chief Collection. That game came out like forever ago, like 2007.
Yeah, I think it came out, around there.
So 13 years running, people are still playing that. Like, amazing game. Amazing game.
Tyler, you are inducting what game?
Kingdom Hearts 2.
There it is. And why is that?
That shit, nostalgia everywhere. I remember going to my dad's house and staying up to 2 in the morning. My dad just let me do that because he didn't care what I did as long as I wasn't waking him up. Just fucking sitting there going to Hercules Coliseum, beating the shit out of people, hanging out with her, just swapping out characters, hanging out with Tarzan, Simba. That was my game. The story just pulled me in. If I could cry, I would cry. But we don't do that around here. But no, that was my shit, and it will forever hold like a special place to me. I remember like going to my dad's house again, and like I think I was like 18. I was like, my ex girlfriend at the time. And I sent her a picture. She's like, I'm not gonna hear from you like the whole weekend. I'm like, nah, you definitely not. I'm playing this shit. You're done. Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, no, that it's so odd that those games exist. Every time I see them, I'm like, Final Fantasy characters and Disney characters, and it's just so interesting that game is so popular. And I'm happy as a Disney fan to see that Disney was, allowing their content, because Mickey does not come free. I'll let you know. So it's like the fact that he's able to
have like 5 games.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like the fact that he's in those games is crazy. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2 is a good induction. And obviously I have to give mine, but my thing is I have to go back to what we talked about for our game of the decade, and I honestly think it is rightfully deserving of being inducted into the Hall of Fame as well. Especially since we classified it as the game of the decade, is Grand Theft Auto 5. I think that game is an all-around top-notch game, like I've said in the last part to this episode. So I won't go too far into it, but to kind of recap, it's just I think that game is so good all around. One of the best video game type of games. There's not this sense of like, oh, I have to be this certain way to play the game, or I can do whatever. It's just enjoy it. Just enjoy of how chaotic and how fun the game actually is. So GTA 5 is my induction into the class of 2020 Hall of Fame.
Nice.
Any last minute things to say about the Hall of Fame?
Nah, I
Okay.
think
Nope.
Cool.
We
Let's talk. Oh, sorry.
no. Just we good. Let's
Okay,
go.
all right. Before we wrap this up, before we wrap this part up, let's talk about Game of the Year. Game of the Year of 2020. We narrowed it down to 3 finalists here that we all agree that should be in contention for 2020. That is The Last of Us Part 2, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Call of Duty Cold War. 2 of these games PlayStation exclusives, so that's interesting. What are you guys feeling? Like about these? Our final 3.
I mean, I've only played Cold War,
Okay.
but I wouldn't say that it's game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to go with either Last of Us Part 2 or Miles Morales, but I haven't watched nor have I played either of those games.
Mhm.
So,
Well, tell me why you like Call of Duty that you were able that you not able, but you wanted to put this through to the final.
I like the story a lot. I haven't fully beaten it yet. I just like the setting.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of go back and forth between time in terms of like remembering old stuff. And it's also like pretty interactive. You get to like sort of choose like make decisions in the game, not really to a full extent, but like you can choose to throw a guy off of a roof or like capture him, which is pretty cool. And it's in the 80s, so I mean that's also pretty cool. Um, there's a lot of stealth. I don't know. And the game just looks really good. Like all the cutscenes, super like crazy. Like they just look amazing. Like the character models look realistic as fuck, except for Reagan. He looks like a clown. Uh, Fucking rosy red cheeks. They're like over the top. Like the man's actually wearing blush. It's crazy.
Like they dressed a
yeah.
corpse up.
Yeah, pretty much. It's really weird. It's bizarre. They need to like tone that down a little bit. But I don't know. The game's good and multiplayer is pretty solid. But I like Last of Us. I like the first one. The second one, I'm excited to play it once the PS5 version comes out. Miles Morales, I'm excited to play as well. But I think I'm gonna table it. I'm gonna listen to what you guys have to say, and then I'll choose after you guys.
Okay. Yeah, for me, with these final 3, I definitely like with you touched upon it just for a second there with the decision-based thing. Obviously there is, it's kind of like, oh yeah, you can in the right direction for what the Call of Duty crew is going to decide to do. With seeing what Black Ops with Treyarch was able to pull off with Black Ops Cold War in just the short period of time of them doing, they got the kind of, hey, Sledgehammer's not doing this anymore, you guys are in charge, and it's like, oh, yeah, I guess we'll finish this idea that we had, but yeah, here you are. There's a documentary that I think IGN put out that is how the game was made in the brink of a pandemic, which I haven't not yet seen at this current moment in time, but it's super interesting to see what went on about that. Especially with them getting sprung up. They were like recording mocap in like people's living rooms. Like they sent them the equipment so that they could record the mocap and then send them all that information back. It's super interesting of like how they went on into doing this in a in such a, I don't want to say the name of it, but since the pandemic was happening, that's how it was going on. But anyway, I think that this is a definitely like, I don't know. I haven't really been in love with Call of Duty games in a long time. But I think Modern Warfare with multiplayer and with Warzone kind of revived that for me. And then going into this as like from day one playing Call of Duty, I'm not, I kind of haven't said this to them, but I have bought the game twice, and I do own it on PS5 and on PC. And the PS5 version, it is a I will say so I bought the PC version at full price. PS5 one, it was on sale, and I had a couple gift cards. So technically, kind of give or take of like how much money I actually spent on the PS5 version. But nonetheless, It is cool, like how they're innovating the new hardware, especially with PlayStation 5, with the haptic triggers of where like each gun has this different feel of pulling the trigger on the R2 button, and it's super cool of just like that they're trying these new things for a game that's been around for over a decade. Almost, actually, I think now they're hitting in the 20 years of Call of Duty soon. But yeah, it's so good. I think one of the best Call of Duties, but I wouldn't say it is the best. I don't want to say that because I'd have to go back and play them all again. But I think it's definitely a solid entry from what Treyarch was able to do in such a short period of time. And I can't wait to see what happens like when Treyarch has the time to put in a really good campaign, because of what I've heard, and I'm sure Tyler will talk about, is because he has his opinions on the campaign too. It kind of ends really quickly, and so hopefully we'll get a little bit of a bigger campaign a little bit later, because I know that there are people who still love the campaigns of Call of Duty. But obviously multiplayer is a big part of it. So, and they are one of the companies that they removed a campaign for Black Ops 4, I think. So it's kind of like, yeah. But anyway, so before I completely go off a tangent on just talking about Cold War, Spider-Man Miles Morales I have played on PS5. Absolutely gorgeous of a game. The holiday seasons of it with the snow and like the cool aspects of the style that Miles has, he adds his own flavor to being Spider-Man, because in the beginning of the game, Peter goes on a vacation, and so now it's like, oh, it's Miles' turn to like kind of be, he's got a little bit of training, so now Peter taught him some moves and things like that, and so now he leaves him for a little bit to kind of do his own thing. And Miles is such a cool character of just who he is as a Spider-Man, and it is his you definitely see the style of where he comes from his mixed background of Hispanic and African American culture blending together. You see that kind of going in. I am annoyed that he's not wearing the Jordans, but that's neither here nor there. But there's times like when like one of the things specifically like during the holiday season, there are wreaths around the whole entire city of New York, and he can actually like swing, and he does this like kind of spin move like through the wreath. It's kind of cool, but it's just like those little moments that you can have in that game are really fun. Plus there's some haptic triggers to the PS5 version where he will actually if you like thwip, like shoot your web to another thing, you actually feel the shot and the release of it. Like it's really cool of how they kind of let that mode kind of come in. And then The Last of Us Part 2 started playing it on PS4. We'll get back to it. And it is I've gotten about probably halfway through the game, and it is a solid game. I do like how the fact it does take place in Seattle, so there you go. But the game alone, I think, fixed a lot of the problems I had with the first game. I thought the combat was like, you moved really fucking weird in the first game, and it's just super clunky. Even though a lot of people do kind of say like, oh, you moved pretty well. No, you don't. Especially going back and playing those games, it still wasn't good. But then playing in this one, and I played it immediately after I played The Last of Us. Like I went through The Last of Us Remastered and then started playing this, and the movement is so much better. I think that obviously the dialogue and the voice acting from the people that are in the game are just so good. Yeah, I think that it's a pretty well-rounded game too. So those are my connections to why those three are top for me. Tyler, what you got? Cold War, Spider-Man, Last of Us.
You want me to just talk about them, or just like you want me to say which one I prefer over?
How about you? So talk about those three of why those are top three for you, and then why don't you kick us off with what your vote is?
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna go in the order of how much I know about them, starting with Last of Us. I looked up some of it because I actually wanted to play for myself, and I think I will be kind of soon. And I really enjoyed the first one. It's like a whole summer, ignored a lot of homework for that last one. That I still passed though, but I played it, really enjoyed it. So I was thinking like the next one is going to pick up on that hype. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to play it. Shout out to Little Brothers for breaking their PlayStation 4 controllers. Gotta love it. But like the hate I was seeing online just didn't match up. So I think I watched like maybe like like 30 minutes of it. I was like, all right, I gotta say this for later. It was looking clean. I was like, all right, we gonna wait for that one. And going on to Miles Morales, I just honestly, if like I hate to make it something like this, but it's just the inclusion is what does it for me. Just I know people make jokes about it, but it's true. Like looking at him in the Amazing Spider-Man, that haircut, coming to his own game, having like an actual haircut that would be on just a regular African American teenager is something that is important because playing games nowadays, I get to create my own character. I want to be me.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to be you when game developers don't accommodate you. But Miles Morales, he has that, and like I feel like he takes on the role of Spider-Man in a complete different way that's unique to him. Like no one's gonna be Miles, right? He didn't try to be Peter.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. Like he did it his own way. Even like, in the trailer, like I forgot his friend's name. That like talks to him a little bit. He like you always talk about Spider-Man, but we got to remember you're Spider-Man too, and he did that. And I really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Cold War obviously the one I played the most. Um, I didn't like the campaign. Be honest, I'm not one for short campaigns either. And playing it, I definitely like got the rush feeling. I can feel like you can tell where they spent most of their time getting shafted the way they did. Just like can't get hit with that news immediately coming off of Black Ops 4. It's like what the fuck? These are supposed to be going years. This was at that time they still thought they were on like the they get a break because I think the cycle was like Infinity War, Treyarch, and Sledgehammer.
It was reversed a little bit. Flipped a little bit.
It's
So
it's Sledgehammer.
it was Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, then Treyarch.
There you go. My
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
No, but yeah.
So like they go in thinking, okay, we at least got like 2 more years to, like prep and just nope, we can't Sledgehammer. Get on this. It's like what?
Mm-hmm.
So like you could definitely see like some of the missions just didn't feel like they shouldn't even been in the game. Like I could have done without them. Like if I just take it as it is it good? Yes. But knowing like they're like the other Call of Duty campaigns that I've played, no, I'm not like a
Yeah.
fan. Like,
Mainly where you're saying like, is it to the caliber that Treyarch could deliver? And you're saying no.
no, yeah, because we played Black Ops 2. We played Black Ops
Mhm.
1. Like
Yeah,
those are
I could see
campaigns.
that. I could agree with that.
My favorite side note, my personal favorite campaigns aren't even Treyarch campaigns. Honestly, I really enjoyed Ghost and Infinity War.
Yeah.
Warfare. If you never play Infinite Warfare, that campaign is solid. Right? Don't let like space. No, it's cool. Like they do side missions very
Is that
well.
the Kevin
But
Spacey one?
no, that's Advanced Warfare.
Okay.
Infinite Warfare is the one with Conor
Kevin
McGregor,
Spacey?
Kit Harington, the guy who played Jon Snow from Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
He's yeah, I really enjoyed that one. But yeah, that I enjoy that game. I'm a COD fanatic. Well, not fanatic, but it's like that's the first FPS I decided to put time into. So I hope the special place there, being like 11 years old and telling your dad, "Hey, Dad, I'm finally getting video games." He's just nodding along because he doesn't give a shit what you're saying. He's like, "Hey, whatever, kid." But Call of Duty is like where I go to be competitive, and this one I feel like scratched that more than Modern Warfare did personally for me. I didn't like being bogged down. It's like I was super slow in Modern Warfare. So this one I was like, all right, you move a little bit faster, zooming around the map, and the revert back to the old mini map system, of course, was one of my favorite things because I don't like you not showing up on mini map. That encourage people to camp. Don't do that. That's fucking terrible. And of course, putting like perks and shit back in the game with dead silence, basically makes people think more how you set up your classes, more intricate ways. But I do like a little bit of like a meshing. Like, you can see where like this one, again going back to like the lack of time, like this one takes a lot from Black Ops 4. Like a lot of UI, how UI works. And like, when you kill somebody, you may see like how much damage you did to them or whatever. That like Black Ops 4 right there. But that like it's all right. Black Ops 4 was solid this game. I'm really liking it. It's solid. So yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going into what my pick is.
Yeah. What is your vote for Game of the Year of 2020?
Miles Morales.
Miles Morales. That is one vote for Miles. Yeah. When I get down to it, I will say, like for my vote, Cold War is a good game, but I can't, and it is definitely a game that I'm, like I was saying, Call of Duty, I've just started getting back into it, and I am absolutely enjoying the game itself. Last of Us 2, I don't know what it is that makes me not want to play that game. Like, as much as people talk about how good it is so much, it's like the first one I think got overhyped for me, and I think that's why I didn't really enjoy it as much. I will say it's a top tier game and one of the PlayStation's like best exclusives for their console. But like I don't know, I just stopped playing Last of Us 2 and I don't know why I never went back to like complete it. So I really can't vote for it. It is a good game and it is a reason why it is in the top 3 and I wanted to push it through. I just can't give it that. And Spider-Man Miles Morales, there's just I don't know. I think I like the fact that the character has a little more, to it than in the first Marvel Spider-Man, because like in Marvel Spider-Man, it's like you already know who Spider-Man is. You already know, so don't worry about it. Like just go and thwip around the city of New York. In this one, you get to talk with his friends. You get to see like his mom. You get to see, and with what happened in the last game, you don't really. I don't want to spoil things if no one's ever played Marvel Spider-Man, but or knows what Miles' story is. But there is some things that happen in the game that are from, they pick up kind of a little bit after the first game, so that it kind of implies that Peter has been kind of teaching him. They show like this. It is a character evolving game for me, and I think there's a little more liveliness to what they decided to do with Miles. And so I'd have to give it to Miles Morales. I have to give Spider-Man Miles Morales my Game of the Year vote. All right, Ashton, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just hop on that wagon with you guys. I don't know. I don't know. I definitely didn't want to give it a COD, so it was really just down to The Last of Us and Spider-Man. So I am pretty equally interested in both.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just call it unanimous. We'll just go to Spider-Man.
Okay, cool. Spider-Man Miles Morales is officially our Game of the Year for 2020. As much as a lot of people would probably argue that Last of Us doesn't matter. It's our show. So Spider-Man Miles Morales gets our Game of the Year. And yeah, so there you go. Any final words for our PT awards?
Nope.
Shit, nah.
We're moving on.
Stay in your house.
Wait,
are we done?
No.
We done?
We got one last topic.
I got a final message.
Oh, you got a final message? Okay, for that?
Later.
Oh, later.
Yeah,
Okay. We're moving on.